Hello and welcome back. I'm here for my Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves movie review, and I I noticed before I get started, Jonathan's not here. Should we wait for him? I was really kind of counting on Jonathan being here for my review. I don't know. Should we wait for anyway? Um, Nah, no, we'll start. No, he'll catch up. He'll be fine. It's on Paramount Plus. It has audio description, and it's a lot of fun. It's directed by Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly, who previously directed Game Night, which was delightful, and is one of my favorite films easily. I ended up watching that film way more than I thought I would. Uh, just, just a really fun film. And if you're a Bones fan, I think you know who John Francis Daly is. So yeah, they took the franchise that seemed unadaptable and adapted it and made it into a fun film. It's kind of the same thing that Amazon has done recently with The Legend of Vox Machina. This felt very similar to like what a film version of that would be. Um, I love that we're taking Dungeons and Dragons and we're not trying to make it like The Lord of the Rings. I think that's what's making it really fun, is that these films and TV series have this light, comedic, just not taking themselves too seriously touch to them, which allows the film to have several moments of levity that carry the film through. Chris Pine, particularly in general, is great in this. I mean, he's just a great casting choice because he works in many ways. He works as the male lead, as he's proven when he's been given that opportunity, anchoring Star Trek, the new Star Trek movies. And then he turns around, and of course we know he can do comedy. You look at like a role of his in Smoking Aces, and he's up for anything, and he just does a great job here. Sort of playing the character that everything sort of happens to and around. And then we pick up other actors and other characters along the way, played by people like Michelle Rodriguez, Regé-Jean Page, Hugh Grant. And it's surprisingly a fun film. And it lets you know tonally what kind of film it's going to be pretty much right from the outset. Right from the beginning, this film says this is what we're going to be like. The one thing that I did notice was the runtime. I'm not going to lie, 2 hours and 15 minutes was felt. It did kind of feel like it was one of those films that had you going to place after place after place after place. It's like mini quest after 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 mini quest, in sort of like a really obvious fashion. It didn't have it feel, it couldn't avoid that feeling. It wasn't organic enough. It didn't have you going, okay, so like you feel like you're following a map, or like on a video game, how you're going level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. It felt very, accomplish this goal, then move on to this, and then accomplish this goal, and then move on to this. Which got a little tedious at times. It felt like everything was a fragment. I don't even know how many acts I would break up this film into. It doesn't feel like a 3-act film because of that. It feels like it's got like its own sort of like mini acts almost going through it. I don't think this film has a typical 3-act structure to it. But it does keep it interesting, and it does keep it flowing, and the humor throughout is one of the things that keeps you entertained and engaged in the film. I actually really like Michelle Rodriguez as an actress. So having her in this film and having her in this role, I think really worked. I think she is an excellent sort of, she probably is the number two here next to Chris Pine. So having her opposite him in sort of a kind of a smart ass, badass role was probably the right choice. I think it's safe to put her there. And Hugh Grant is surprisingly good as a kind of pompous douche. He's getting up there in age, and he's aged out of the Notting Hill roles, so now he's doing this. This is what he does now. I have no idea what the visual effects look like, so I can't comment on that for those of you who are sighted and who are like, but does it look good? Does it look like they spent some money on it? I don't know, dude. It made a lot of money at the box office, but probably. It's probably fine, you know. I think they made it look decent, I'm gonna guess. The audio description on a lot of the fantasy stuff was fine. I didn't quite feel like the thing about Dungeons and Dragons, and the thing, I don't know the franchise that well. I know that sounds weird because it seems like everybody plays D&D. I don't play D&D. I'm sorry, nobody ever taught me. I do play Magic the Gathering, so I play something that's Dungeons adjacent, and so I mean I understand the concept of this type of world and what it means and what it could bring. And I also watched Legend of Vox Machina, which is, adapted from Dungeons and Dragons. So I kind of didn't feel like there were a lot of other types of well-described races of creatures. I guess I'll go with that, like elves and dwarves and other things. It just kind of felt like everybody sounded human, and their original character description just didn't give me a whole lot to go off of. That made me feel a whole lot like they were quite different from everybody else. There is a person who becomes a major character that they pick up as the movie moves along, who has the ability to shapeshift. And I must have missed her character description because I didn't really get a whole lot of like what she looked like. It's totally possible. I mean, there's a lot happening in this film in some points, and she just kind of gets introduced sort of in the middle of madness, and a lot of what she does happens in really fast, quick-paced scenes, but then she's just kind of around for the rest of the film, and I just kind of like, I don't know, I was like, what is her character design? Is she chilling? Because she says she hates humans, so I know she's not, but I just didn't really feel like with her and then with some of the other characters I really got too much description. So I also didn't quite get, there's a little bit of a gag, and I mean I get it because of the way he chose to act it, but it's funny. I don't know why people are hiding this cameo, but there's a cameo in this film. They go and they visit Michelle Rodriguez's ex, and it's played by a well-known actor, and I didn't quite get the whole juxtaposition of why it's so surprising that she would end up with somebody like him. I was like, was it just his personality, or does he also look goofy? So there were some times I just felt like for a film like this I could have used more. I really wanted to be brought a lot more in, but there are times where I feel like I was really brought in. There was this scene where somebody was being judged, and this creature just starts morphing, and it's like morphing into a creature that doesn't really exist in reality. So the narrator was really trying to keep up with what this character was turning into, what this creature was turning into, and I thought it did a pretty good job. So I mean, there are times where the narration is fine and does a really good job, and there are times where you just realize what kind of world you're in, and you're like, I feel like I should just be getting more, and I don't even really know like what it is I'm missing. Sometimes that's the problem with me complaining about things, is that I don't know what it's specifically I'm missing. I just feel like for a Dungeons and Dragons movie, I understand the concept, I understand what kind of film it is, I understand what kind of world I'm in, and based on what I got, I kind of feel like I didn't get enough. So I think the key action elements were there, but I didn't feel like I was engrossed in this world. So there you go. The narrator's voice was fine. It's Paramount Plus, which always kicks me out of the credits as soon as they possibly can. So I have no idea. I did not get to the narrator name. Although I thought it would be fun, because when I was going through the credits and looking at the names of all the people who were in the cast, I got to a point where down the line there was a guy in the cast called William Redmond, and I was like, oh my god, what if William Michael Redmond was in the film and then also did it's just some other guy, some Scottish actor, so I don't know, but who does stunt work mostly. So but yeah, I saw that in the castle, so I was like, that would be fun if there were two people with the same name doing the same project in two different ways. But it's not, and that's okay. So if you want to see a fun adaptation of Dungeons and Dragons, this is it. We got it. This is way better than that thing we got in the 2000s with like Thora Birch, Marlon Wayans, and I don't know, that other kid who stopped acting. What was his name? I can't remember what his name was. Justin Chatwin? Was that? I have no idea. I don't know. That other kid, he had been acting in the 90s, and then he starred in Dungeons and Dragons, and I think he got renditioned from the face of the planet. I have no idea. Don't know what happened. But yeah, that was the original Dungeons and Dragons movie, which was not good. Some people have tried to do that thing where we come back around to it like 20 years later, and they're like, no, it's really good. Like they're doing with the Super Mario Brothers thing with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. I've seen a lot of people trying to do that now that the new one's out. They're like, no, actually, guys, it was really good. It had a lot of thoughts about capitalism. I'm like, that movie was garbage. It was hot, steaming garbage. Hot garbage. All right, so I guess it's time to figure out a grade for this thing. So I'm gonna give Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves a B+. I think it mostly works. I just felt the runtime, and I can't ignore that. I can't tell you that it felt like it just briskly just ran through the film. Like I was like, ooh, oh, is it over? I had no idea. I was definitely sitting there going, oh my god, this film is long. So, it can be fun and long, but it's just when you have us constantly going from place to place to place, it's noticeable. You know, it feels like we have to achieve this, like we're collecting ingredients, is what this felt like. Some of it is really funny. There's a scene in a graveyard that is hilarious. I mean, probably will end up being one of my like top 10 favorite scenes of the year. Will be that scene from the graveyard. Just a fantastic scene. But yeah, but still it can get kind of tedious. So anyway, thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and click subscribe. Do it. do it now because I'm asking you to. And you can go ahead and you can go to my website, macthemovieguy.com. You can go to Twitter or Instagram and follow me there at macthemovieguy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It lets you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. It'll let you know who's narrating your favorite films and television shows. That's it for today. You can look forward to another review coming from me very soon. I will see you guys on the other side. Until then.